Get to UWM's pricing engine. Of course, we just have to log in, right? At the very top left, price alone. We're gonna go to easy qualifier. All right. And so it'll take you to this, okay? And so what you'll need to do is you'll need to, within this pricing engine, you'll need to punch in the criteria for your loan, okay? So you'll kind of need to know exactly what you're looking at in terms of sales price, down payment, et cetera, what the loan term is. But there's just only a few spots where you need to fill out, and pretty much just everything in the red asterisks, okay? So loan officer, we're just gonna do me for right now. Bar, let's do bootcamp trading. All right, and what this does is when you retype bootcamp training in here, it actually saves it automatically for you, the criteria, what you put in. So you can always refer back to it. I think it only saves for the past 30 days. So if you try to access this again on day 31, it'll kind of disappear. You can go back to manage scenarios and try and find it from there, okay? So what I did was I just scrolled down a little bit, went to manage scenarios, and then you might be able to find it in that section. But go to bar name, bootcamp training, right? Now you get to choose the loan type. So if it's, the spinning wheel can stop really because it's not really helpful. You get to choose the loan type. So conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, whatever you like. Right now we're just gonna stick with conventional, and we're gonna show the difference between bar pay comp and lender pay comp, so at least you guys can see where everything sits on that. Oh, come on, really? I love tech issues. All right. Oh, no, David Smith. We have two Davids, by the way. So when you discuss David, just be sure you add my last name on there if you want to talk. If you want to talk to me. Bootcamp training. Okay, so conventional. So again, we click the drop down. We can choose whatever we want. Conventional, FHA, FHA ARM, USDA, VA, VA ARM. Okay. Again, we're never, ARMs aren't really competitive in today's pricing, so it doesn't really make much sense to really price it out. But you can price out two different ones at the same time. So you don't have to really stick with one. It'll just list it all out for you. But for the sake of simplicity, we'll take FHA out. Loan amount, we'll do 225. Okay. Sales price, let's say 300K. So at least we can get that 75% LTV, get rid of MI. You know what? I'm going to show it with MI. So you guys can see what it looks like with MI. So 90% LTV, right? Purpose, so we can choose purchase or refinance. If we choose refinance, we'll have to select what type of refinance is it. Is it a cash out? Is it a rate and term? What are we doing, right? We can do a streamline, FHA, or a rate and term refinance, rate and term conventional, or any type of cash out. 9 times out of 10, when we choose cash out, we're gonna do other. Because really, it doesn't quite matter what it is. There's no stipulation in pricing or any difference when it comes down to pricing. If it's for college consolidation, you're basically taking equity out of the home. There's really no other risk, additional risk for any of this, right? So we just select other just to make it easy for yourselves. But just do purchase, so at least we have it. Scrolling back up, so we want to choose the occupancy, make sure we have the correct occupancy, right? So primary owner occupied are going to be the same thing. So just keep it as primary. Secondary or investment. Investment occupy for 14 days. I wouldn't worry about that. Just do investment property and call it a day because the pricing is going to be the same between the two. Okay. Property type, you want to choose what type of property type. Single family resident, PUD. More than likely, PUD and single family resident is going to be the same thing. If it's going to be a modular home, so manufactured home. Condo, 2 to 4 unit dwellings, so duplex all the way up to quadplex, site condo. So if it's a condominium, we're going to have to choose that. So as of right now, we're going to do a single family resident. And then how many units are in that property, right? So most SFRs are 1 unit. And then for the sake of just making things easier for yourself, what I would do is to skip out the state and county. I just put the zip code because it'll auto-populate for you. So if I put 77001, right downtown, it'll automatically populate Texas and Harris County for you, right? So it'll kind of do the auto calculations for you. And then credit score, we want to make sure we have the correct credit score in here. So let's just do 740 just for best pricing right now. And then monthly income, monthly debt, annual taxes, HOI, and finance charges, I leave it blank. But if you add these in here, monthly income more specifically, will help calculate the DTI, right? So it kind of just eliminates the whole whether or not this loan will work. But since we're just pricing it out just for the sake of just getting a rate, I really don't add anything in there. Monthly debt, or actually taxes and HOI annual, when you add these in here, it'll actually add it into the monthly payment that's going to be listed at the bottom. I keep it blank because, like I said, I'm just getting a rate. I'm just trying to figure out what the pricing looks like. Okay. And then mortgage insurance type. Remember how I went through this, guys? Went through this very briefly. Bar pay comp, lender paid, not bar pay comp, bar paid MI, lender paid MI. You'll have a split MI, split 100, single premium. You get to choose however you want to go about it. Okay. Just keep in mind if you do lender paid MI, just remember the lender has to pay for this MI, so the rate's going to increase, right? That money has to come from somewhere. Okay. And then on this right side, commitment period. So UWM has a specific product called Conquest. Conquest has their their lowest rate really within the market. And so in order for you to actually get Conquest pricing, you need to have the rate lock at least 22 days or below. Okay. So really what I generally try and do is I set the rate lock at 22 days. If you want the regular pricing or the regular loan product, you can do 30 days. But general rule of thumb is you're always going to go Conquest with UWM, hands down. Okay. You'll see the regular pricing in just a minute. It doesn't make any sense when we go through it. Here, compensation type. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do borrower paid for right now and see how that looks. And then everything else, document type is always going to be full, right? Escrows. So UWM doesn't have a penalty if a person decides to waive their escrows. So you can waive, you can escrow, you can just waive insurance, you can just waive taxes, or you can waive both. They give you that option, okay? So we're going to do no waiver for right now. Loan term, you get to choose between 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 year. And the UWM also has that off year, which is what they call the flex term. And so you get to choose within that bucket of a 30-year fix from 26 to 30. Okay. So if you're trying to find like a 22-year, what I would do, I would just do a 25-year. And that allows you to choose down to 22. Okay. So if you see something missing, just try and like click around in that base loan term. Here is where you can waive that underwriting fee. So you remember how we can waive that underwriting fee and roll that into the rate, right, within our points and fees test. This is where we can do that. And then if they're a first-time home buyer, you can check that off, and that'll give them the first-time home buyer, like the Home Ready, Home Possible loan programs. And then one of the cooler things about UWM too is they give you exact rate type. So if you're in a competitive situation against the lender, another lender, right? Most lenders, when they send out rates, they send it on an eighth basis. So you're talking about like 3%, 3.125, 3.25, 3.375, right? So every single eighth of a point. Now, UWM allows you to select a specific rate you want to send out to a borrower, right? So instead of 3%, if you want to make it look a little bit more favorable, you can do 2.999%, right? That looks a lot better than 3% to a consumer all day, every day. So you can take advantage of that and say, hey, you know, I want to issue them a 2.999%. What's the cost on that, or what's the credit on that? Okay, so they give you that option. What we're going to do is just going to leave it blank for right now, so at least, you know, we can see what just the borrower paid and lender paid comparison is. So once we have everything filled, I know that was quite a bit. We're just going to get quote right here. Okay. Oops. So I'll tell you if you missed something. So it told me I was missing sales price, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in. Okay. And so now right below here, we're going to see all the options that they're going to give us, right? And these options are going to be in the blue right here. So this is their Conquest conventional 30-year fix. So this is their Conquest 30-year fixed mortgage for a conventional loan. Then they have Home Possible mortgage, which is that first-time home buyer program. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Home Possible. Then they have Home Ready. Then they have their regular conforming conventional loan, right? The non-Conquest program. So we're going to go through the difference between Conquest and non-Conquest in just a second. So if we open up Conquest,